Hello there, everyone. You're welcome to today's episode of Life Hacks with Elvira. I am happy to share with everybody who is interested in the contents that I put out here. And I want to say thank you to everyone who views my life hacks and every content that I put out. I say, God bless you. You motivate me to do more. I thank you for your positive comments as well. Now, today's life hack, we're going to be talking about burnout. Burnout. Now, that phrase is not something that is quite familiar with us, especially here in this part of the world, in Africa and in Nigeria. We often don't pay attention to things like that, but they happen to us, to the best of us. And so it's something we need to talk about. We need to identify what a burnout is. We're going to be looking at the symptoms of a burnout, how to differentiate between stress and burnout, and then we will look at 11 ways that you can recover from a burnout. So, before we go ahead with today's life hack on burnout, I want to encourage you to like this video, share it with your friends, and also subscribe to this channel so you can be notified when I post other interesting contents that will be of benefit to you. So, moving to today's life hack, we're going to be talking about a burnout. And what is a burnout? Now, according to a site I visited when I was doing a research on this burnout, helpguide.org, it says that a burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by excessive and prolonged stress. Now, burnout can occur when you are feeling overwhelmed emotionally, you are feeling emotionally drained, and you are unable to meet up with your constant demands that are related to life. Now, these demands can be work demands, life demands, family demands, and other factors that contribute to your daily life. A burnout is when the physical, mental, and psychological exhaustion from stress takes its toll on your body and your mind, and then it can cause you to feel fatigued and disconnected and worn out. Now, sometime in the late parts of 2019, or let me just say from the middle part of 2019, I didn't even realize I was experiencing something like that until when it got to the ending part of 2019, when I totally broke down. And it's like the worst time of my life. It's like the worst experience I have ever had in my life, where I felt like life had ended for me. At the time, I didn't know it was a burnout until later on, when I started going through some materials online and reading up on some personality disorders and some mental stress disorders. And then I realized that, okay, there's actually something called a burnout, and I have experienced it. So a burnout can reduce the productivity and it can sap your energy. It will leave you feeling increasingly helpless. You will feel hopeless. You will feel cynical, and you will feel resentful to everything and everybody that is around you. Burnout is not an official mental issue or personality disorder. It doesn't have an official medical diagnosis, but it is something that people experience. And so there are some psychologists who have gathered experiences from a number of people. They've put this analysis together and they brought out the concept of what we call a burnout today. Let's talk about the symptoms of a burnout. First of all, let's look at the physical symptoms. The physical symptoms of a burnout, the first one is you're always feeling tired and you're feeling drained most of the time. You're just weak. You feel unenthusiastic to do anything. The second one is your lowered immunity and frequent illness. You just don't know. When I was going through my own burnout, I was always feeling sick. Today is this, today is that. To an extent that I had to go for a series of tests. I did malaria tests. I would treat malaria today and tomorrow I have malaria again. I even went for HIV test because I was falling sick so frequently and I didn't know what the cause was. I checked my blood pressure. My blood pressure was always going up. So the second physical symptom of burnout is lowered immunity and frequent illnesses. And the third one is frequent headaches and muscle pains. Like you are having constant headaches, you're taking paracetamol and every other drug that comes your way, and you're still having that headache, you're still having those pains in your muscles, is another physical symptom of a burnout. Another one is your change in appetite and your sleep habits. Before, you used to eat normally, and then suddenly you find out that you have zero or no appetite to eat. Or for some persons, their appetite skyrockets. Like if you used to eat like 3 times a day, you find out that you don't get satisfied by eating just 3 times a day. Sometimes you see some people eating 4, 5, 6 times a day. They are always eating, always want to put something in their mouth. And then another one is the sleep habits. It's either you are lacking sleep, you don't sleep at night, you find it difficult to fall asleep, or you sleep too often for your own comfort. Those are the physical symptoms of a burnout. Now, the emotional symptoms of a burnout are a sense of failure and self-doubt. You just have one deep feeling that you have failed in life. You just doubt yourself if you can even do anything. You are doubting yourself if you can ever rise again. That is one emotional symptom of burnout. Another one is feeling helpless, feeling trapped, and feeling defeated. You're feeling like nothing is working out for you. Life has defeated you. Everything has defeated you. Another emotional symptom. Another one is detachment and feeling alone in the world. You feel also loss of motivation. Nothing around you motivates you anymore. The things that used to give you strength, the things that used to motivate you before, you can't find them. They don't motivate you anymore. Another one is increasingly cynical and negative outlook. You have this pessimistic outlook to everything. You have this negative outlook. You have this negative perspective to everything that is happening around you. You just feel like nothing good can ever happen. Another emotional symptom is decreased satisfaction and sense of accomplishment. Decreased satisfaction and sense of accomplishment. No matter what you have achieved in life, no matter what you have done, you feel like you haven't done anything. You forget about the things that you have even achieved, and then you start counting your failures. That is another emotional symptom of burnout. And another one is self-doubt and low self-esteem. Your self-esteem and your self-confidence drops to zero. That you forget about the things that used to boost your self-confidence before, and you start counting the things that makes you less of who you are. Those are the emotional symptoms of a burnout. Now, the behavioral symptoms of a burnout are you find yourself withdrawing from your normal responsibilities. You isolate yourself from other people, from family, from friends, and your normal social circle. You begin to procrastinate. You procrastinate so much that it takes longer to get your things done. It takes longer to complete your task. Another behavioral symptom is using food, drugs, or alcohol to cope. Most people who go through a burnout, because it drains you so much that you look for something to rely on. And so most of the time, people rely on drugs. Some people rely on alcohol. Some people rely on food, just eating, binge eating. You just keep on eating and eating and eating. Another behavioral symptom of a burnout is taking out your frustration on others. You are always angry. And so when you're angry, you can't do anything about that, your anger. So you transfer that anger to the people who are around you or anybody that comes your way. That is another behavioral symptom of a burnout. Another one is skipping work or coming in late and leaving early. You don't have any motivation to work. So because of that, you don't go to work sometimes. So you don't even have any reason of staying out of work, but you just want to stay home without going to work. Or it's either you go in late and leave early because you don't have any motivation to work. You're just doing it to fulfill all righteousness. So those are the behavioral symptoms of a burnout. Now we're going to be looking at the stages of a burnout, how you will know that you are climbing a burnout. But before we get there, I have to point out that there's a difference between stress and burnout. Some people might confuse a burnout to be stress. No, there's a difference. Now, when it's although burnout is as a result of unrelenting stress, like a consistent stress, but it's not the same as stress. Stress comes from physical and mental pressure that can be cleared. And if you're feeling stressed, you know it, you can imagine and you can believe it that if you put things in order, if you're putting the things in order that are bringing that stress on you, you will actually feel better. But when it comes to a burnout is much more deeper than that. It is a feeling of emptiness and mental exhaustion. It is devoid of any form of motivation and it is beyond caring. You don't care about feeling better. You don't care about rising up. You don't care about putting your life in order at that point in time. People who experience burnout don't see any hope of positive change in their situation at all. They just feel like that is the end of their life. And so most of the time, people who go through burnout and don't manage it properly, their life actually ends there, because if you lack the motivation to put your life in order, then that's it for you. But most of the time, the people who are able to move through a burnout, who are able to heal through a burnout, they are elevated to a higher level of life. They are elevated to a higher level in their career and everything that pertains to them. And their lives can never remain the same. They can never go back to the person that they were before, because it most of the time leads to something we call a spiritual awakening. Because one of the processes of getting yourself out of a burnout has to do with some spiritual practices that can pull you closer to your source energy, pulling you closer to God. Because without God, my dear, you can't heal from a burnout. Now, let's look at the stages of a burnout. The first stage of a burnout is that you feel a strong need to prove yourself. You always want to prove yourself to your friends, your family, to people around you. You want to show that you are something or you're doing something. That is the first stage. The second stage is that you keep working harder and harder to achieve the first stage. You're working harder, not because you're working hard to improve yourself or to improve your life. You're working hard to prove to people that there's something about you. You're working to prove yourself to people. That is the second stage. The third stage is that you begin to neglect your own needs more. Because you're trying to prove yourself to people, you neglect your own needs, you neglect your own self, you neglect your self-care just to prove yourself. The number 4 stage of a burnout is that you are conflicted and you blame others or the situation. You're feeling conflicted within yourself because something is not right within you. And instead of looking down to check what is not right within you, you begin to blame people for it. You begin to blame situations for it. The number 5 stage of a burnout is that you change your values to focus more on work. You change your values to focus more on work. It means something is going wrong in your life. You forget about your values, you forget about the things that used to comprise of your day-to-day life, and then you focus all your attention on work. Something is not right. The number 6 stage of a burnout is that you deny the problem that arises due to work stress. You're feeling stress from work or from anything around you, but you are denying the fact that this is the thing that is stressing you, because you just don't want to admit it. The number 7 stage of a burnout is that you withdraw from social life and your family as well. It's not like you do it on purpose, but bit by bit you realize that you've cut yourself up from your family members. You used to have a social life before that is now non-existent. That is the 7th stage of a burnout. The number 8 stage of a burnout is that your behavior changes, which upsets your loved ones. And people will be telling you all around you, you have changed, you are behaving like this, why are you like this? You will not agree at that time, but people will see it, that your behavior has changed, but you may not notice. The number 9 stage of a burnout is depersonalization happens and you don't feel like yourself. You feel disconnected from the person that you were before. You feel disconnected from the things that you used to do, the things that used to motivate you. You realize in yourself that you are not yourself again. But sometimes that depersonalization will be confused for change in your life. You will feel like you're changing for the better. Meanwhile, you are in the stage of a burnout. The number 10 stage of a burnout is that you feel empty and numb. Substance abuse can occur. Because of that numbness, you feel empty. There's a vacuum somewhere inside of you. And because of that vacuum, you look for something to fill it in. So most of the time, you abuse substances. You abuse drugs, alcohol, food. Some persons, they fill it up with sex. Yes. So that is the number 10 stage of a burnout. The number 11 stage of a burnout is that you feel depressed, you feel lost and completely exhausted. Then you are heading to the breaking point of that burnout. When you are now feeling depressed, you are now feeling lost and completely exhausted, then you will know that you have reached the breaking point of a burnout. The 12th and the last stage of a burnout is that you mentally and physically collapse, full burnout. That is when you have reached the breaking point. That is the 12th stage. That's when you know that yes, something is actually going on in your life, and then you need to check for it. At that point in time, you have lost every need to continue living. I say this with so much passion because it reminds me of the way I felt in the early parts of 2020. Then my contract, the job I used to do, my contract had ended. And then so many things were happening in my life at that point in time. So it even deepened my burnout a lot. All those things made me feel like I was a failure. It made me feel like my businesses had run down. Everything I was doing had collapsed at that time. And so I just felt like, in fact, life has ended for me. And I was like, what have I been stressing myself for all this while? I felt so unmotivated. I felt lost. And that was the final stage of the burnout. That was where I collapsed. And then I started looking for ways to dig myself out of it. Now, we will move to 11 ways to recover from a burnout. 11 ways to recover from a burnout. Now, before we get to those 11 ways to recover from a burnout, I have to point out that the first thing that you need to do, the first thing about a burnout is realizing that something is actually wrong with you. If you have been able to tell yourself that something is wrong with you, you have to then bring God into it. That was one thing that helped me. Although I had a healthy spiritual life before my burnout, but it was mostly based on my ego and my own personalization of religion or what I thought God was. But it was a fact that I knew God. And so I invited God into my life. And then I told God, I spoke to God and I said, I don't know what is happening. Help me out. And God actually helped me out. He spoke to me and he gave me steps on how to heal myself. He brought both the wrong and the right people my way who helped me to heal through my burnout. So the first thing about healing from a burnout is discovering that there is actually something wrong with you and introducing God to that problem. Now, 11 ways to recover from a burnout. Number 1, you have to identify the things that trigger your stress, because a burnout starts from stress. It starts from stress, accumulated stress, unrelenting stress. There's a stress that you feel for a day, and then after that day, you will relax and then it's gone. But a burnout results from unrelenting stress that is accumulated. So you have to identify the things that trigger your stress. When you know the things that trigger your stress, it will help you to avoid them or reduce your interactions with them. If you now realize that, okay, this thing is stressing me out, you cut yourself away from it. You avoid such things, such people, and you stop interacting with those people. So that is the number 1 way to recover from a burnout, is to identify the things that triggers your stress. The number 2 way to recover from a burnout is to create a habit of journaling, writing. Get a notebook or a notepad, get a pen, and keep it very close to you at all times. Whenever you are feeling exhausted, whatever thoughts that come into your head, you write it down, because with so many research, it has been proven that when you write down your feelings and your thoughts, it relieves you of the stress that those thoughts bring to you. So whenever you're feeling sad, whenever you're feeling depressed, whenever you're feeling the need to get angry or you're feeling pressured in your chest, you write it down, you journal it, and you will find yourself feeling better. So the number 2 way to recover from a burnout is to create a habit of journaling. The number 3 way to recover from a burnout is to look for a therapist or a counselor, somebody that you can open up to. Now, here in Nigeria, we don't have time for therapists. I hear we have a few therapists, but they are very, very few. And I believe that in this part of the world, a therapist will be very, very expensive. So if you can't reach a therapist, you can look for somebody who you trust, that you can open up yourself to. Most of the time, they are our pastors. If you go to church, your pastor can serve as a counselor or a therapist. Go to such persons and tell them about how you're feeling. Express yourself to them. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Don't keep it to yourself. Tell it to someone, and then get some level of advice or get some level of soothing, because when you share your problems with people, they will either give you an advice or they will look for a way to make you feel better. They will tell you soothing words that will make you feel better. So the number 3 way to recover from a burnout is to look for a therapist or a counselor, somebody that you can open up to. The number 4 way that you can recover from a burnout is to build an exercise routine. One thing about a burnout is that for people who read energies, they will tell you that a burnout causes a stock of energy in your energy systems. Means your energy systems are blocked and stuck. And so if you exercise, that breathing, that heavy breathing that comes after an exercise or during an exercising period, it frees up your energies and it frees up your mind, it frees up your muscles, and those things can make you feel lighter and lighthearted. So you just build an exercise routine. As at the time when I was going through my burnout, I didn't know that I was going through my burnout. That's why I always say that it was God that directed me to what I should do to ease myself from a burnout. I created an exercise routine because I wasn't doing anything at that process. So I started doing an exercise routine to work on my lower body, and I kept to it every morning. So after my morning prayers, every morning I would pray for at least 1 hour. I will sing praises, I'll sing worship, and then I'll pray. And after that, I start my exercise routine every day for 7 days. And it really helped me. It really worked for me. It made me feel better. It opened up my energy sources and my energy spaces and allowed a free flow of energy through my body. So the number 4 way that you can recover from a burnout is to build an exercise routine. The number 5 way that you can recover from a burnout is to speak up for yourself and to express your likes and your dislikes and the things that make you uncomfortable. Some people who experience burnout is because of accumulated things that they have kept in their minds. They find it difficult to speak up for themselves. So one way that you can pull yourself from a burnout is to always speak up for yourself and express yourself. Express your truth. Tell people the things that you like and the things that you don't like. Tell them the things that are bothering you. If people are trying to overcross, you tell them. Speak up for yourself. So the number 5 way to recover from a burnout is to speak up for yourself. To express your likes, your dislikes, and to talk about the things that make you uncomfortable. Now, the number 6 way to recover from a burnout is to create a balance between work, life, family, and every other aspect of your life. This thing that they say that all work and no play makes Jack a very dull boy is very, very true. All work and no play will make you a dull person, and all play and no work will make you a very foolish person. If you focus all your attention, all your energy on work alone, you will find out that other aspects of your life will be lacking. And you need a balance in all aspects of your life to make your life work properly. So there's a need to create a balance between your work life, your family life, your social life, and every other aspect that contributes to your daily living. Because if one part of your life is lacking, there will be a vacuum, there will be a space for a burnout to grow. So the number 6 way that you can recover from a burnout is to create a balance between your work life, your family life, your social life, and every other aspect of your life. Now, the number 7 way that you can recover from a burnout is to do the things that you enjoy. And it's also part of your social life, a way of relaxing. Think of the things that make you happy. Think of the things that boost your confidence and do those things. For some persons, it can be going swimming. For me, yes. So one of the ways I healed from a burnout was that a friend took me out swimming for a very short period. I healed a lot of things that were burning me out that period. You can go swimming. It could be fixing yourself your favorite meal. It can be traveling to a place that you feel like going to, spending time with people that you love, doing something that makes you happy, doing something you enjoy. It could be running, cycling. Think of anything that you enjoy doing, something that gives you joy and happiness. For some people, it's cooking. You can do that for yourself and feel happy. So the number 7 way that you can recover from a burnout is to do the things that you enjoy. The number 8 way that you can recover from a burnout is to create a healthy sleep schedule. To create a healthy sleep schedule. One thing that contributes to stress is lack of sleep. And when you're going through a burnout, you will see that your head will be turning issues over and over and over, that you won't find your sleep at night. You won't find your sleep during the day. You won't be able to rest. You will just keep thinking about the things that are going wrong in your life, and then you're stressing yourself more, contributing more to your burnout. So if you want to heal from that burnout, you have to create a sleep schedule. You have to tell yourself that I want to sleep. I will sleep from this time to this time. And there are some techniques that you can use if you're having insomnia or you're finding it difficult to sleep. There are some techniques that you can use to boost your sleep. I'll do that in a separate video one of these days. So you have to create a sleep schedule for yourself. Make sure you are getting at least 6 to 7 hours of sleep every night, no matter how busy you are. Make sure you rest your mind, rest your body. So the number 8 way that you can recover from a burnout is to create a healthy sleep schedule. Now, the number 9 way that you can recover from a burnout is to follow a healthy diet. Follow a healthy diet. When you're going through a burnout, your diet changes, your appetite changes. Some people don't eat at all, while some people eat in a very unhealthy way, eating everything and anything that comes their way, because there's a vacuum that they are trying to fill. But if you want to recover from a burnout, you have to watch your diet. Watch the things that you eat. Create a diet plan for yourself. Tell yourself what to eat and what not to eat. Cut down on junk food. Feed yourself more with vegetables and fruits. Do some smoothies for yourself. Just create a healthy diet for yourself. Create a good diet, a workable diet schedule for yourself. Remove some things from your diet. If you're eating too much of junk food, you're drinking too much Coke, eat healthy food. Put more fruits in your diet. So the number 9 way that you can recover from burnout is to follow a healthy diet. Now, the number 10 way that you can recover from a burnout is to set boundaries in every aspect of your life. Set boundaries, because it is lack of boundaries that stimulates a burnout in the first place, because you forget your own boundaries. You're trying to prove to everybody, you're trying to prove to the world, you're trying to prove yourself to people that don't even care about you. But if you want to heal yourself or recover from a burnout, you have to set a boundary in your work life, in your family life, and your relationship. You will learn to say no, learn to draw a line, to tell people that this is the path that you can cross and this is where you can't cross when it comes to me. This is what I can do and this is what I can't do. This is what I can accept and this is what I won't accept. So, learn to say no. The number 10 way that you can recover from a burnout is to set boundaries in your work life, in your family life, your relationships, your social life, in all aspects of your life. The number 11 way to recover from a burnout is to practice mindfulness and meditation. Practice mindfulness and meditation. I realize that most people don't know what mindfulness is. Even though we know, we don't care about it. Mindfulness is cultivating a peace-oriented lifestyle. You just tell yourself that you want peace in your life. You want peace around you. And you want to have peaceful relationships with the people around you. If you have that kind of mindset, you will now bring in things and activities, lifestyle and behaviors that ensures, first of all, your own inner peace. Because peace has to start from within. It has to start from within yourself. You have to create a lifestyle that gives you inner peace. And then from that inner peace, you create a lifestyle that brings peace between you and your environment, your surroundings, your people around you. And then you extend that peace to your outer environment. That's what it means to cultivate the practice of mindfulness. You have to make joy and happiness your default setting. That is also mindfulness. You tell yourself that you want to be a joyful person. You want happiness to flow in you. You forget about everything that is weighing you down. That is mindfulness. You now pay attention to the things that you do. Pay attention to the things that you say. Pay attention to your thoughts, the things that you think, because most of the things that bring depression, sadness, and lack of peace in our life are our thoughts. You pay attention to your thoughts. You pay attention to the things that you allow into your head. You create a space of joy and happiness, and that brings you inner peace. And make happiness your default setting. You tell yourself that you want to be a happy person, and so you do things that make you happy. When things that make you sad come, you learn ways to block them out. You just put them out. Anything that is there to destroy your inner peace, you block them out. You focus on the bigger picture. Forget about the little things around you that are weighing you down. You focus on the bigger picture of yourself, what you want to be, what you want to achieve, what kind of life you want to live. You focus on that thing. If you keep paying attention to the little things around you, the little things that are not working for you at that time, you weigh yourself down. So that is mindfulness. You cultivate a peace-oriented lifestyle. You make joy and happiness your default setting, and you focus on the bigger picture. Now, let's go to meditation. A lot of people don't know what meditation is. Some of us, when we talk about meditation, we think meditation is when you do or you do one very acrobatic style in the name of spiritual jargons, and then you think it's meditation. No. Meditation is simply sitting still and breathing. And trust me, if you can inculcate at least 10 minutes of meditation into your life on a daily basis, you will see how fast your life will turn for the better. It's a simple thing. You sit still. Make sure your back is straight. You can either sit or you lie down, but make sure your back is straight to allow a free flow of air. You blot out every thought from your head, although at first it's not easy to blot out thoughts because the thoughts will keep coming. There's something we call monkey mind. Your mind will keep going and going while you're trying to meditate. You're trying to focus your attention. You see your mind will be thinking about the eba that you did not finish the previous day, about that man that you saw that was wearing a torn trouser on the road, and then you're thinking about the Coca-Cola that you're going to buy. You're thinking about that guy that wants to buy you shawarma. You know, so many things coming through your mind. That is what we call the monkey mind. But with practice, with regular practice, you realize that you can actually shut your monkey mind down. Now, you keep quiet, you keep still, you close your eyes and sit still for at least 10 minutes in a day. And for that period, all you're doing is just to breathe. You take deep breaths. You breathe in into your stomach from your nose, you breathe in into your stomach, and then you breathe out consistently for like 10 minutes at least. You're not thinking about anything. You're not thinking about your problems. You're just there, connecting with yourself, bringing peace into yourself, because when you breathe in that oxygen in and out, it amends the cells in your body. And that is one vital way of healing yourself of anything when it comes to illnesses, of anything that affects your energy, especially burnout. It's very, very vital. So you inculcate a practice of meditation. You practice meditation. We've talked about mindfulness, which is creating a peace-oriented lifestyle, making joy and happiness your default setting. You focus on the bigger things. Now, this is meditation. Learning to sit still, learning to quiet your mind for a few minutes, to focus on yourself and to look inward into yourself, just breathing. You're not thinking about anything, you just breathe and let out any stress. Do you know that we store stress in our muscles, in the muscles of our body? Yes, we store stress. So it's either you're lying down or you're sitting down, but make sure your back is straight to allow a free flow of air. As you breathe in deeply and you breathe out slowly, you are easing your muscles of any stress. That is meditation. And if you can try this at least 10 minutes a day, you will see tremendous changes in your life. So those are the things that you need to do to recover from a burnout. I gave you 11 ways that you can recover from a burnout. And number 1, I said you can identify the things that triggers your stress. Number 2, you create a habit of journaling. Number 3, you look for a therapist or a counselor that you can open up to. Number 4, you build an exercise routine. Number 5, you speak up for yourself. Number 6, you create a balance between work, life, family, social life, and every other aspect of your life. Number 7, you do the things that you enjoy. Number 8, you create a healthy sleep schedule. Number 9, you follow a healthy diet. Number 10, you set boundaries in your work life, your family life, your social life, your relationship, etc. Number 11, you practice mindfulness and meditation. I want to also remind you that healing through a burnout is not a day's job. It doesn't take just 1 week. It doesn't take 2 months. I can tell you that I have been healing through my own burnout for almost 2 years now. I have almost gotten to the end of my healing process, but I am still healing. So you have to be patient with yourself and follow these instructions bit by bit. Be patient with yourself and know that your recovery will not happen in just one day. It is a consistent practice of these and other healthy things that will lead to your recovery from a burnout. So take it easy on yourself. I hope you have learned something valuable from today's life hack. Don't forget to, tell me what you think about today's life hack. I want to hear from you. I want to hear your thoughts about today's life hack. And I also want to hear the things that you would like to learn about in our life hacks in subsequent episodes. Thank you for following my channel. Thank you for always being a part of this. And thank you all for your encouragement. Until I come your way next time, do have a lovely day and God bless you.